I want to give a shout out to my partner, DraftKings Sportsbook. You know DraftKings, the industry leader in building your daily fantasy sports lineups. Well, ladies and gentlemen, they have a brand new sportsbook, and it's coming to New York. Soon, very soon, you can take a shot on all of your favorite sports teams with everything from same-game parlays to player props. You know Derrick Rose, RJ Barrett, Julius Randle. DraftKings. It's safe, secure, reliable. And peep this. Anytime you want to, you can deposit or withdraw your cash. DraftKings Sportsbook is coming to you, New York. So check out DraftKings. Tell them Sim sent you. Use the code NBK. There's a link in the description of this video. Remember, NBK. Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Shoot Around, sponsored by DraftKings. I'm not even going to give you that rundown because you just heard it. But there is a link in the description of the video if you're interested. Check it out after the show. But we're going to get into a lot of stuff this morning, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to start off by talking about Mitchell Robinson, who just entered health and safety protocols. Another one bites the dust for a little while, at least. I got my boy Andy here, so we can talk about it. And you see from the Knicks PR, Mitchell Robinson, he's entered health and safety protocol. Kemba Walker, he's got a sore left knee. He's going to be out for tomorrow's game. The full injury report: Noel out, Randle, Robinson, Selden, Sims, all in health and safety. House, Rose, Semenuk, Walker, all out. And Fournier is questionable. Andy, what's popping with you, man? Let's get right down to business with Mitchell Robinson.
Yeah, what up, Sim? Happy New Year to you and to the rest of the, chat crew of the whole MBK fam. Yeah, Sim, listen, this is a bad timing for, not only for the Knicks, but we're going to look at this perspective, right? It's a bad timing to lose to the safety, to the health and safety protocol, a big man that, cuts our roster down to basically Taj Gibson, Obi Toppin, and Kevin Knox. And when you think about those guys, none of them are NBA quality centers, right? Not to mention we got to fill out 48 minutes of a game time between those three guys. So, I'm expecting Taj to be, playing most of those minutes. But I think, Tibbs will have to roll out a small ball unit, which I don't think he is really comfortable with. So that's going to be a decision on Tibbs, and we're going to have to, get used to it for at least a couple of games.
Yeah. Listen, last night, I didn't think that we utilized Mitch the way that we could have as far as the lob game. I think we could have did more in that regard, especially because we were not putting any pressure on the rim. But now we lose even that. And that was an issue last night. We were not attacking the rim. And while we didn't use Mitchell Robinson the way I think we could have, we lose that option because of his ability to stretch the floor vertically. Now, we have Obi Toppin, but Obi Toppin's now playing a little bit of a different role because he's the starting power forward. You know what I'm saying? And Mitch has been playing well lately. I think he grabbed 12 rebounds last night. 9 points, 12 rebounds, somewhere around there. He's been playing really well, really hitting the boards. And his length, with the way that we're allowing teams to penetrate, his ability to block shots, his ability to use his length to change shots is critical for us. We're going to miss him, you know what I'm saying? Especially, with Randle out, Kemba out. We're going to miss Mitchell Robinson. Now we're talking about 3/5 of our starting lineup. It's not on the floor, and so it's impacting the starting lineup and it's impacting the bench. And we're playing some really smart teams coming up. Toronto, Boston. These teams are smart. Pacers. Yeah, Pacers with Miles Turner. I don't know what their status is and what the status will be then, but these teams are smart. And they're going to know exactly how to attack us. Exactly how to attack us. You know what I'm saying? Now, I don't know, man. I don't know. And then you got Kemba Walker. He was a late scratch yesterday because of knee soreness. And here's what Tom Thibodeau had to say after the game about Kemba Walker and his knee soreness. And you know what? For all intents and purposes, you can say Kemba Walker's out indefinitely because I don't think the Knicks are clear about exactly what kind of soreness it is and how long he'll be out. But this is what Tom Thibodeau said after the game.
Yeah, just wanted to start off though, from what happened because it's
it was last minute. He was warming up, and something didn't feel right. So I haven't talked to the trainers yet. It was a last minute scratch. He was probably in back getting treatment.
Are you worried this is
Pardon?
Are you worried this is a serious situation?
I don't know. Because it was. He started his warm up and then he stopped, and so and then Anthony was looking at him and just felt it. Let's get him examined and then we'll go from there. So
what do you think?
And so there you go. They really don't know much about what's going on with Kemba and his knee, but the fact that he was warming up. It didn't feel good. And basically they were like, let's go. We got to go get this looked at. To me, that says that there's something there. You got to go get it looked at. There's something there. I don't know. Go ahead, Andy. What do you think?
Yes, and man, and listen, soreness is you can't grade it, right? Because you don't know if it's going to be lingering, if it's just, a rest issue that, he played too many minutes, as we all know, Kemba's knees aren't perfect, aren't the youngest, or, after several injuries, maybe, those couple of games of playing 30, almost 40 minutes game, took a toll, right? So, the positive, outcome would be rest him 2-3 games and get him back on the floor. The worst thing that could happen, maybe something, it's going to be a longer, off the court issue for him to rehab it again, to restore it, back to, playable condition. And, that might take weeks, months. And I don't think the Knicks have that time.
Yeah. When you look at the situation right now, Julius Randle, obviously out due to health and safety protocol. Now Mitch is out due to health and safety protocols. Kemba is out because of a sore left knee. Derrick Rose is out because of surgery to his ankle. He's in recovery right now. Nerlens Noel is out, so we don't have another starting caliber center to throw out there on the floor. Andy, are we in trouble? After watching last night's game and then knowing that we're going to have, a majority of our veteran players out for a while, are we in trouble? Are the Knicks in trouble?
Listen, Sim, according to the fan base, if you would, run back the clock 4 games ago, the Knicks were in trouble back then. And we were
that's true.
That's one of the most healthy teams in the NBA. We won three out of 4, and the situation got even worse.
Right.
This is getting, from bad to worse. So it's I'm laughing through tears because this might be, a season-breaking moment for the Knicks.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think it is a season-breaking moment for the Knicks right now. I think it is. It's a season-breaking moment. When you look at the teams we have coming up, they're tough defensively. They are tough defensively. When you talk about Toronto and Boston and the Pacers, they're teams that can play you defensively. They're smart teams. They're, for all intents and purposes, rivals of the New York Knicks. We're all fighting for the same type of position in the Eastern Conference. They're coming to knock us out. You know what I'm saying? And we're decimated at this point. This right here, these next 4 games, I think makes or breaks this season. And I thought that this point was going to come in February.
Yeah.
It's here, right now. It makes or breaks this season, I think, these 4 games. Right now, we're 2 games below 500. If we drop these 4 games, we're 6 games below 500, and I don't think we recover.
Yeah.
I hate to say it like that.
This is going to be a really bad stretch if we drop, even if we go like 50-50 on this. It's not going to be perfect. It's going to be like, we're not going to be probably sit at the play-in situation if we go 50-50 in these 4 games. And what's worse, these are all East Coast teams, and I always repeat this. No, these W's and these L's count as double because somebody gains a game versus you, or not a game, but they gain 2 games if they get a W versus you.
W versus you. Right.
These games, I'd rather lose to a Dallas or a San Antonio, right? That's only putting you half a game behind. But taking an L to a East Coast team is really bad.
Yeah, this is a difficult stretch for the New York Knicks. Hey, you know what? I just seen somebody say in the chat, it's time for some new leaders to step up. And I agree 100%. It's time for some people to step up. And, if you feel that you deserve a spot out there on the floor, if you deserve 30 minutes a night, this is your time to prove it. If you feel that you deserve to be the guy, this is your time to prove it.
Yeah, and Sim, I was talking about this, Sim. Before we had, I don't remember if it was on a show or it was backstage. I was saying, listen, if Randle somehow would have to sit out like 2-3 games, someone would have to take those leadership roles and try to get them. But what's the worst? Kemba's out. Fournier's injured. Because he's playing, right? But you can see that he's like he's hurt out there. He's a body, but he plays like 20 minutes, and for a couple of minutes he's cool, but later on in the game he's not himself. So he's playing injured, and the rest of the guys, we don't have D-Rose, we don't have plenty of guys. So that's the worst part. Like the timing in basketball is everything, they say. This thing is really bad timing for the Knicks to have Julius out and the rest of the guys injured or not fully healthy and able to go, right? Only man left on board for this role, I think, it's RJ, and it's not by his choice. So
right, that's it. And you know what? Sometimes it happens in the NBA that way.
Yeah.
Everybody goes down and someone has to step up, and that player steps up and proves to everybody that he can be the guy. Hopefully RJ can do so. It's difficult, especially with the teams that we got coming up. It's going to be difficult. It's not going to be easy. But we're going to be looking at you, RJ. We're going to be looking at RJ to step in and be that leader out there. Taj Gibson obviously is a vocal leader, and he has the veteran aspect behind him. But as far as being out there on the floor, being the leading scorer, is going to have to be RJ right now. It's going to have to be. Last night, I was looking for Kemba to step up and be the leader. He didn't play. RJ did a good job last night. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
He did a good job. He was the only one in the second half attacking the rim, like needed to be done. So he played a good floor game. You're going to need more. And you're going to need more than just RJ to score. I mean, last night, Emmanuel quickly had 11 points, the only other person in double digits.
Yeah, and Sim, listen, we can have a good game scoring wise from a guy like Quickly, from a guy like Burks, but we don't have the option to rely on this team to be like, scoring by committee, because you have like basically 3-4 guys. It's not I understand that when we're fully healthy, the Knicks, from 1 to 15, they got players that can score, but with so many players out, these options are really limited at this point. So, and I hope it's going to be like 2-3 games, and one game Quickly's going to step up, the other game Burks is going to step up, maybe Grimes is going to step up one game, and we somehow pull out a win here and there, so we don't sink.
Yeah, I hope so. I'm gonna take a couple of phone calls, and then I want to hear Tom Thibodeau and his thoughts on last night's game, and then I want to get your thoughts on last night's game, and I'll break it down with, last night I was a little bit emotional after the game. I'm not going to lie. I wanted to win. So I was a little bit emotional. I accidentally said I was having an emotional breakdown. I didn't mean that I was actually having an emotional breakdown. I meant that I was emotional as I was breaking down to the game. And so today I would have a more intelligent breakdown of the game. So let me get to a couple of phone calls here. Caller, you're live. Tell me your name and where you're from, please.
It's Mike from North Carolina, Sim. Always polished as always.
Thank you, Mike.
And
I appreciate you, man.
On your breakdown, man, you really did have me going for a minute, man. But I understand what you're saying and where you were coming from.
Yeah, man. I just wanted to win the game. I wanted to win the fourth in a row. I wanted to see the young guys do well. You know what I mean? I wanted to see that happen. And even if we lost the game last night, if we played well, I would have felt better. But, besides the first 3 minutes of the game, we played terribly.
Yeah. I'm not going to say too much about last night's game. It wasn't even frustrating, but let's see what we can do. Well, I was going to say, let's see what we can do tomorrow night, but point blank, gentlemen, I'm more concerned with the health of everybody, and I'm of the opinion that Commissioner Silver should shut the season down, seriously. I don't like what's going on.
Yeah,
I really don't.
Me and Andy were talking about that just before we got on, and from the way things are going, I mean, so many guys out. It's crazy. I don't think Commissioner Silver, I don't think they're even considering it, though. I think they're like, we're going to power through this. I really do feel like that.
And that's even worse than he lost big time points with me, and that's just outright disrespectful. I mean, what was his mindset? And to me, I'm sorry, he's thinking about the dollars, because you just can't keep pushing people out once if they're cleared, quote unquote. Because even then, as I mentioned in a previous conversation with you, in my experience, depending on what form of COVID you have, there's this not a headache as far as pressure, but this sensation of just wanting to lay down. And yet, for that sensation, if you get up and move around, you're cool. And we all know professional athletes move around. I don't know how they're being addressed medically, whatever, but this virus, this mutation, this is like it just came back better than ever, stronger than before.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, no, let's not take chances.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you, man, 100%. Because SGA after last night's game, he's out due to health and safety protocol.
Wow. And also, as far as I really haven't researched it, what's the situation like down in the D leagues? What's happening with them? Seriously, because you're bringing up players, and you're signing former guys that used to be in the league for 10 days. Realistically, how long can that be sustained? Can you do that?
Exactly. I agree. How long can that be sustained? I don't know. You know what I mean? It's definitely they've really got to take a hard look at it, because It started off, there were a few, and it's rapidly grown. And now it's just like, it's crazy.
And even worse, and I kind of hate to say it, but what about us, the fans, going to these arenas?
Yeah.
And from what I've been watching of Knicks home games, the seats close to the court from that facility onward back have been pretty thick.
Yeah. And, the only other thing, which, I'm looking at some people in the chat bring up, and I do agree with them, is when you shut down these arenas, you shut down the game, there are a lot of people that lose jobs. And most of those people really need the money. And I'm sure that's another thing that they're thinking about.
I know that. I thought about that. I so get it. I really do. Well, yeah. I'm erring on the side of caution. Yeah.
I hear you, man. I hear you. It's a tough situation. Mike, I appreciate your time, man. Appreciate your call.
And I appreciate you, Sim. Thank you, man.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Yeah, it's definitely a tough situation. Let's get to one more call, man. I want to, get back and kind of focus on, the Knicks, because we are in this situation. And, what's it look like right now? Are we in trouble? Caller, you're live. Tell me your name, where you're from, and tell me, are the Knicks in trouble?
Yes, the Knicks are in trouble. It is Tricky Nicky from Michigan.
Tricky Nicky. What's good, brother?
I can't hear you, Sam.
I said, what's good with you, my man?
Oh, nothing was good yesterday. I mean, it was New Year's Eve. I was sitting here celebrating, watched my Wolverines lose, watched my Knicks lose. It wasn't a good day yesterday, but it's a new year. So the way I think about things, like with the last caller, this is happening all over the league. So you're just going to postpone games. Things are going to happen. But the Knicks are definitely in trouble. We're in a lot of trouble. With Randle being out and now Mitch finding that out today, we're looking at a season where we might not even be a play-in team. We could drop because we have Atlanta behind us as well. I noticed when you were talking earlier in the show, you never brought them up, but we got Atlanta, Indiana, Toronto. We got those teams behind us.
Mm-hmm.
And if, somehow they stay healthy, we're looking at maybe missing it altogether, and it's scary. And I know some people in the chat say, well, let's make the trade. I don't think we're ready to make the trade. I think we're just ready to sit here, and I want to know Andy's thoughts on this. I just think we're ready to sit here and play our young guys this year. And if we have to take a season off and miss the playoffs, so be it. But I wouldn't go all in and all out and, go for a guy like Damian Lillard's probably not even available, but I wouldn't go in all out for anyone like that. I'm just wondering what you guys think about that. Like, I think if we just develop and quit blaming Tibbs, let them play the young guys, lose, they got to learn. And that was me in the chat that said, hey, this is an opportunity for a new leader to step up. Who is it? Is it RJ? Can Grimes do it? Can Deuce be that guy? Can it be IQ? I don't know. I don't know who it is, but I love you guys. Salute to your show. Everybody like and subscribe. Hit that like button. Subscribe. Join the channel. Become a member. Do everything possible you can. Salute to staff, Josh, a.k.a. Uncle Julio. Love those guys. Hope they come on soon. You guys have a great day. Happy New Year. And Tricky is out.
Tricky, appreciate you, man. Tricky Nicky in the building. Appreciate you. Let me get one more call. Then I want to listen to Tom Thibodeau and his breakdown of last night's game. And then we're going to get into it, ladies and gentlemen. Caller, you live. Tell me your name and where you're from. And please let me know, are the Knicks in trouble?
What's up? This is Gavin. And I don't think that the Knicks are in trouble. in a long-term sense.
Hey, give me a call back. I think he said his name is Gavin. Give me a call back. The phone line was a little bit staticky. It was kind of hard to hear you. So just give me a call back when it's a little bit more clear. But let's take a listen to Tom Thibodeau and his breakdown of the game. And then Andy and Savvy is here. We're about to get Savvy here in the chat. You know, we're going to get into this with more level heads.
Obi and McBride in their first starts.
You know, I like that we actually started the game pretty well. And then, you know, our bench came in and we lost the rhythm that we had established with the bench, you know, the past few games. But that's, you know, it's choppy right now. So, and then I thought, like, in the fourth quarter, we had the one possession that really hurt us when we had cut it to 3, with 9 or 10 minutes left, and we gave up the offensive rebound, and they got the dagger 3 off that. So, you know, and can't play like, you know, right now we're short-handed. We have to play hard as heck on every play.
I mean, especially, I mean, you guys weren't shooting the ball well tonight. I mean, 80 points. I mean, how do you coach that? I mean,
Well, the thing is if you defend and you rebound, the thing is giving them the second shots. And we should have, you know, had more, you know, ourselves with second shots. And we didn't. So, and we didn't make free throws. That was problematic also.
Did you like the threes that you guys were able to get?
Some of them, you know, what I didn't like is I want them to continue to trust the pass. I thought, you know, when we got it down to 3 and then we gave up that was a backbreaker on the rebound. And then on the penetration, they're collapsing. And then we're trying to, you know, shoot over 3 or 4 guys. And that's where you got to continue to trust the pass, you know, trust the pass. So if we play off the pass, you know, you'll find some rhythm. But then you also, you know, you got to get some easy buckets, you know, and we didn't do that either. So we played a low energy game, and you can't do that.
except RJ, I mean, he's barreling to the basket like that. I mean, like, is that impressive to you when you see him that strong?
Well, and the thing is if you don't win, it's, you know, it's not, there were some good things that he did. I like him in attack mode, getting downhill. Yes. And then, you know, the other thing is to make the right read in the right play. So, you know, we'll take a look at the film. I thought, you know, like I said to him, the trip started off, you know, we played well, got 2 wins, and we slip up here. We got to bounce back, you know. So the games keep coming. We got to be ready every night. Probably so. Yeah. And, you know, good. I mean, those are the things he's done for us. It's, you know, so him going downhill, he's got good size, he's strong. So we like to see that. Like, all our guys are different when we're attacking the rim. So if we attack the rim, we should be able to get good stuff from that.
I mean, Miles doesn't find out he's starting until, you know, half hour before. I mean, is that tough for a rookie?
Not for Miles. Yeah, he's a tough competitor. You know, he's going to get better and better. So he plays with a lot of toughness. He made some mistakes, but overall, he's done really well. And, you know, and you have to be ready all the time. That's the NBA. You know, guys get scratched. Sometimes they warm up and they don't feel right. Like in Evan's case, he warmed up and he felt like it loosened up, and he goes. But, you know, Quentin has to be ready to go as well. So when your number's called, just get in there and get it done.
Someone like Obi, he did so many of his buckets just off of like motion and cuts and that kind of stuff. Is it tougher for him without kind of a veteran point guard out there to help him along with those scenarios?
You know, like the thing is with the second unit, those guys have played well because, and a big part of it is him running the floor. And when you have Alec and we had Derrick and Quick throwing the ball ahead and getting those easy buckets, it gets you into a rhythm, gets easy scores, and you need those. And so, and I think his first game starting, so he's, you know, but you got to be ready to go. That intensity. You can't ease into the game. You got to go.
Have you been on the phone with Julius at all?
Yeah.
I mean, how's he doing? I mean, I know that.
Well, it is what it is. There's nothing you can do except, follow the guidelines, and, you want everyone to be healthy. You want them to be safe. That's your first concern, so you forget the basketball part of it. Just, take care of yourself.
Do you do a little New Year's Eve party tonight with the team?
Are you serious?
No, I mean, like, just to get you guys like going.
Yeah, no, the organization's done a great job. We've tried to button it up more. It's almost a bubble mentality. We're back to what we were doing last year.
In 2022, I mean, you feel, there's hope, even though that the record is under 500 right now. I mean,
I always believe. We got to keep working. We got to keep scratching. And my thing is, there's always opportunity, and it's usually opportunity comes in a lot of different ways, and it starts with work. If the work is put in, when those opportunities come, you'll be ready to take advantage of them. And so, but it all comes back to work, and that's it. And I believe you can work your way out of things. Yep.
Okay, so did Andy? I'm just looking for a little bit of clarity. Did Mark Berman ask if they were having a New Year's Eve party?
I was thinking I heard that, but I was like, and Tim squashed that really fast.
Okay, I don't know. I don't even know what to think about it. If that's what he asked, I don't even know. Mark Berman, I don't know, man. He be tripping out sometimes, man.
He has to have something on the Knicks, man, because I'm surprised that he's doing this kind of a job for so many years, man.
Oh wow! I think he really did just ask if they were having a New Year's Eve party, and that's why Tom Thibodeau said, "Are you crazy?" Okay. I don't know. Let me get to this phone call, then we're gonna get to it, and I really want to get your insight on last night's game. Caller, you're live. Tell me your name and where you're from. I think this is the same guy. Your phone was a little bit scratchy.
Can you hear me? Is that better now?
It's a little bit better. Go ahead. I think I can get you.
All right. I was going to say, so salute the chat. How you guys doing? I've been actually binge watching NBK fam all day today.
Appreciate that.
And I want to say, are the Knicks in trouble? I think it's relative to what standpoint you think we're in trouble. Do I think we are in trouble this year? Probably yes, as the season continues to progress on. But one thing that actually Tone and Steph opened my eyes up to today that I never really thought about was I don't think that we're in trouble in a long-term sense. And I say this because with everything going on right now, and this really gives you the chance to develop your G League and just the other guys in the system that you have around you. And one thing that, like Steph said, is although as Knicks fans, we're always in the win now mode, we can't forget that there's no great teams that have won that don't have great organizations. And like she said, over the past 7-8 years, the Knicks have not been a great organization in a whole, standpoint. So I think that as this season, are we in trouble? Maybe. It's not looking good, especially over these last night. I would definitely say I was not always a big supporter of Randle, but after last night's performance, I think Julius definitely although the production and we may not get the eye test of how we want it, he definitely helps our team. And if you're a Knicks fan and you don't notice that after last night, I think you just don't want to take notice of it. But I think this just gives, Tibbs and the organization a chance to really develop everybody else that's in the system. This really teaches teams that you can't just rely on, 1, 2, 3 guys. You really have to use your whole team and your whole organization. So that's all I got. But you guys keep it up. Like I said, I've been binge watching you guys all day. So salute to you guys. Have a blessed one. Have a safe one. And Happy New Year's.
Appreciate you. What's your name again?
Gavin.
Gavin. Appreciate you, Gavin. Thank you. Happy New Year's to you. Hopefully you enjoyed the content. And if you're not a subscriber, subscribed. So thank you. I appreciate you. And look, let's break this one down, all right, with more intelligent heads now. So, my first thought with last night, a lot of people were excited about the first 3 minutes of the game. The Knicks jumped out to a 12-3 lead. But you know what? Normally, your first 5 minutes of a basketball game is a filling out process, especially with two teams that have yet to play each other. Filling out process. The Knicks came out. They were knocking down a couple of threes. They were knocking down some shots from the beginning of the game. And then, all of a sudden, OKC started to get hot. They started to go to the cup. SGA started to make some buckets. Their defense started to pick up. And all of a sudden, we couldn't hit shots anymore. And then we couldn't get stops. Right? And there was some things within the game that just kind of indicated that the Knicks weren't going to be able to win this game. I did think that OKC would cool down and the Knicks would make more shots. But I also felt like there was a chance that OKC would continue to shoot well because the Knicks, the shots that they were getting were wide open. When they were getting shots, there were a few that were contested. But they were getting a lot of wide open shots, and I thought they did a good job of getting in the lane as well. And that's part of the reason why they got so many wide open shots, because they were able to get in the lane, make the Knicks defense have to collapse, and then bam, they were open on the perimeter. Like it or not, people are going to get mad at me. This isn't about Julius Randle and being the greatest player in the world, but his presence on the defensive end was missed. He makes a lot of mistakes defensively. There's no doubt about it, right? And sometimes he misses his rotations in when people get into the lane. But there are a lot of times when he makes that rotation as well. And he's a big body down there, a physical body. So I think, his presence was missed somewhat on the defensive side when it came to people getting in the lane, right? So I think that, played a little bit of a part of it because he's just a big, strong body down there. On the offensive side, I feel like we needed, in the first half, we had good ball movement. We got a lot of open shots. The shots didn't go down. We've seen that all season long. In the second half, we only had one guy that was going to the basket. That was RJ. We needed to get more guys going to the basket, attacking the rim. I just don't know if we have those guys on the floor without Kemba, without Randle, without Rose. I don't know if we have enough guys who can attack the rim without those guys playing. So you got RJ. Who else is going to do it? We're not sure if Miles McBride can do it consistently. I think Obi, if he changes, he's got to switch his mindset over. Right? Obi is very much a system guy in mind right now. And he doesn't want to break the offense. He wants to do exactly what the coach says. And, him and Tom Thibodeau have a testy relationship, so you might be able to understand why he wants to do what the coach says. But right now, I think there's some times when you're going to need Obi to say, you know what, let me just try to put some pressure on the rim. Even if I don't have a whole lot of post moves, let me just use my strength and back my guy down and see if I can get to the cup. He showed one or two good moves last night, I thought, in the post. He doesn't have the greatest footwork, but he has enough speed, enough jumping ability, and I think enough power to still be able to create some problems at the rim. So I'm looking for Obi to maybe do that next game. Who else can penetrate? Alec Burks. IQ can get in the lane, but it's a little bit different with IQ because he uses the floater so much. So I think the way that the defense collapses on that is maybe a little bit different. And I don't know if he collapses it as much because he doesn't get into the heart of the defense as much, right? Because he shoots that floater from the outside. So I don't know who else we have that can really pull in the defense and anchor the offense. And I know, I got a lot of flack in my comments, because I said Julius Randle wasn't there to anchor the offense. I'm not backing down from it. It doesn't mean that Julius Randle is playing well. It's just a part of the basketball game. Who can do that for us now? That Julius Randle's not here for however many games. Who can do that for us with this team? No Kemba, no Derrick Rose, no Randle, no Mitch. And not that Mitch is an anchor, but still no Mitch. Who can do that for us? Andy? Anybody?
Sim, well, listen. If it depended on me, I'd say Evan Fournier. But you wanted an intelligent, talk. I'm gonna pass the voice to Savvy.
Man, first of all, it's a shame that Fournier is dealing with his ankle issue right now because man, we could have used that guy. I feel like that was one of those games where he could have really gone off and had an impact. By the way, salute to Andy. We don't get to share the panel very often. It's good to see you, buddy.
You too.
But I think we do have a guy, and we didn't use him for 1 second of the game last night. Dotson.
You think Dotson can collapse the defense?
What have we seen from Dotson in the past during the Fizz Kids era, the era that shall not be named, right? We saw that given the opportunity, given the touches, given the time and the flow, when he can get in rhythm, he can not only knock down a shot, but he plays some pretty solid defense, and he can drive to the basket when he needs to. I meant to mention this during the post game after the game last night, but there was just so much to pick apart that I never got to it. But I was genuinely shocked to see that he got a DNP, and I was wondering if he was okay. He's not on the injury report today. He's not in protocols, and we had a long stretch of looking horrible out there where you would think to sub somebody in. And I can't make sense of it. We signed him to this hardship contract for a reason. I think he just got a second one, actually. And I was like, we probably could have used that guy's help.
I mean,
you know what I mean? I'm not saying he will be the savior, but we've seen that he's at times capable.
Yeah, I mean,
when someone's capable and you're drowning, you got to give him an opportunity to try.
He can shoot three. He can play defense. I don't know if he's the guy that's going to really collapse the defense. And when your ball movement has failed and you can't find a shot, you're going to give it to him and say, hey, go get me a bucket. You know what I'm saying?
True.
I don't think he's that guy. And I think that's something we were missing last night. Alec Burks can be a guy that you say, hey, go get me a bucket. There's another one. But he only played 24 minutes last night.
And therein lies...
Play 40 minutes. I don't know why Tom Thibodeau only decided I'm going to play Alec Burks 24 minutes last night. I expected him to play 40 minutes.
Those are the two biggest mysteries to me about the game last night. Why so few minutes for Burks? Why no minutes for Dotson? And now we're missing Mitch. So it looks like Kevin is gonna have to play a larger role for us tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm scared to death of the Raptors tomorrow.
I'm not gonna lie. We're gonna get to that a little bit. But I'm not gonna lie. I'm scared to death of that as well. Andy?
Yes, but all jokes aside about this Fournier comment that I made, listen, I really think that Fournier can, and I'm not saying that he's the best option or any case of that, but I really think, and we saw it actually in the first 3 minutes that we played good basketball. He made that three, and then sometimes we see, not only the last game, but previous games, that he tries to collapse the defense. He gets like to the free throw line and he looks to pass the ball. He's mostly looking for Mitch, but Mitch isn't accustomed to even get those balls in case it's only an alley-oop, but in other ways he's not accustomed to get the ball with his back to the hoop and try to make a move. So Fournier's then stuck, and he's looking where he should pass the ball sometimes. And listen, the Knicks don't cut, so he doesn't have a cutter there to pass the ball to. So he has to get the ball out, and they organize the offense from step one, right? But I think not only that Fournier is probably one of the most seasoned guys on the current Knicks roster, taking in account the guys that are out. The only thing that's bad that he's actually injured with that ankle. That ankle's 100%, not 100%. It has to be bothering him. That's why he also played like 20 couple of minutes. And fans are going to say that he played bad, right? Listen, Burks, the previous game had 34 points and he got 20 minutes this game. Taj Gibson almost had more playing time than Alec Burks. And listen, and it's fans are going to blame this on Tibbs. I'm not going to blame this fully on Tibbs because listen, he had half of his assistants. And, maybe Tibbs was like, listen, I got to sub out this guy. He looks at the bench and he was thinking about plugging in this or this guy, and they're not on the bench even.
Right. Right. And I as a coach, when you look down your bench and you're like, I need this on the floor. And you look down your bench and you're like,
yeah,
I don't see anybody that can give me that.
And we saw Kenny Payne isn't there, Daisy Hashimoto. So those are the head leading assistants, right? So, and sometimes, you see that guy that's coming up and listen, this guy has the third foul. We should maybe sub him or something like that. And, he just, it might have been only a mistake. Listen, it's as simple as that. If you have the shortage of these guys, they never played in these lineups. So it's really hard to see and think on the fly who's going to work with who.
Right.
It's easy for us fans to, critic, Tibbs after the game. But what if, for example, Grimes hit 5 or 6 threes and we won the game?
Right. No.
It's really easy for fans to blame everyone, right, after the game.
Right. And you make some really good points there about the coaching staff. Because when you don't have your people there that you rely on and they give you certain information, as a head coach, you can't monitor everything. And you need people to monitor things for you. And somebody, you may have, that's the reason why you choose your assistants, right? Because they give you information that you deem valuable. And somebody else may give you different information about the basketball game. That it really does make a difficult situation. And
listen to him. It's the same with offense, with defense. I'm pretty sure that he has like a defensive assistant that's going to listen. This defense isn't working. We should tweak this or that.
Right.
And same with offense. This play is working because they're like hedging or they're, letting this guy out left open here. So we should, this use this option on this play. Right.
Right.
And, and about you saying previously that RJ was the only one driving. Right. Maybe after the first, half, they were like, listen, we're not making shots. We got to drive to the hoop. And, we saw RJ do it. So let's ride with him. Nothing else. Listen, we saw the only interesting stuff, and I think I didn't see it much before, but when Obi gets the ball in the post, he doesn't have the strength even to, post up smaller guys, and he doesn't have that first fast step, right? But when he puts the ball on the deck, that acceleration that he has, he just runs like a arc, around the paint. And I was like, what's this guy doing? And he's gaining so much speed in the second or third step that he's getting open in the paint. And I was like, but how are you going to use that? It's like the first player I saw in the NBA that accelerates that fast as Obi with the ball in the paint.
Yeah.
So it's really, something that maybe we should try to use. But then again, if you're going to, adjust a play for a guy that probably is going to be a starter for the next 2 or 3 games, then Randle's going to be back. So I don't think Tibbs is like, listen, I'm not going to adjust the whole offense for only 2 or 3 games because Obi might have an advantage, versus this or that guy, right? So I think they're still going to try to use Obi in the fast break. and sometimes on the oops. But I think he has more potential to be unleashed. But I think that's not on mid-season things with all these protocols and guys being out to be adjustment for Tibbs. I think that needs to be done in the off season. And we know Tibbs a stubborn guy, so I don't think he's gonna go all out and break his playbook just for fans to be happy.
Yeah, but with Obi, I think this is a time where Obi can't worry about mistakes either.
Yeah,
Right.
Because who else is coming? I mean, Kevin Knox is out there. I don't think he has to worry about Kevin. Maybe he does. Maybe the relationship between him and Tibbs is that kind of relationship where he feels he does have to worry about it. But this is a time where he can take some chances and say, hey, let me try to get my offensive game going because we need it. We need somebody, as much as people will say, the post game is dead. I don't believe it. You may not throw the ball in like you did to Patrick Ewing and just live and die by that, but you still need to utilize that post to collapse the defense some and then kick the ball out so you can swing, to an open shooter. And it creates a lot of different areas throughout the game that you can capitalize on when you have a post player that can score from the post. You know what I'm saying? And it's not that you're going to do it every single time down the floor, but you need someone, I believe you need someone who can do that from time to time. I think Obi has some ability. He's just got to change his mindset, I believe, and say, hey, I'm gonna do it. And right now is the chance for him to do that. The Knicks are going to have to do a better job also. They had 3, and Tom Thibodeau brought it up, they had 3 second chance points last night. 3 second chance points. Now, most of the time, when you get second chance points, Mitch gets a lot of our second chance points. Most of the time, you're getting them at the rim, right? That means we weren't even converting at the rim. You know what I mean? Look, with the group that's out here, and now with Mitch going out, you're going to have another adjustment you got to make, kind of. It is going to take some time for Miles McBride, RJ Barrett, Obi Toppin, now Taj Gibson probably, in either Evan Fournier or Alec Burks, for this group to kind of figure out how to play. By the time they figure out how to play, the lineup's probably going to change back. You know what I'm saying? You never know. I mean, there were some guys who've been out 13, 14 days. I guess, you just never know. But it is going to take some time to just say, okay, it's going to take some time for these guys to learn how to play. You got to remember, Miles McBride and Obi Toppin, their first time ever starting in the NBA. Their first time ever. So, that makes a difference. The next game, they'll be a little bit more comfortable, although they're playing a tough defensive team in Toronto. The next game, they'll be a little bit more comfortable. So you do have to give some time for them to make an adjustment as well. We don't have a lot of time, but, so I seen some people today, and this is, it drives me crazy. You scapegoat a guy on one end, and then you see some people saying, "Oh, the kids suck."
Yeah.
These guys are no good, and I'm like, come on, like, what do you want? Some of them's their first time starting, the first time getting this much playing time. We can't win no matter what.
It's like a pendulum. It's like a pendulum that only swings to the left and right extremity. There's no in between ground. It just tick tock, tick-tock.
Right.
But right. Okay. So we have a stretch of games coming up. If we lose to the Raptors, a team that I get nervous about playing, even when we're at full strength, right? That's not the end of the world necessarily. Granted, we're already a game below 500, and we were just about to get back to being there. Actually, we're 2 games below 500 now, aren't we?
2 games.
Because that
Yeah.
loss puts us 2 games under. Then we play the Celtics back-to-back on the 6th and the 8th.
The Pacers, and then the Celtics back to back.
The Pacers and then the Celtics back-to-back? Okay, so the Pacers being sooner, that's hurtful because first of all, I hate losing to the Pacers. And we just can't afford to give up these games to teams that we're in striking distance of in terms of the standings. Like these are going to be some crucial games, and I feel like Tom Thibodeau should probably try to cater some sort of an offensive plan, some sort of a strategy to just this temporary lineup that we have, because we need to mitigate as much as possible the damage that gets done to our standing in this next week. You know, because Rose is out for a couple more weeks at least, and we need to send the message to these guys that they have carte blanche to do what they need to do to try to get something going out there. You know, like we don't have the luxury of having a short leash on some of these guys. Some of these guys need to just be allowed to hoop and do what they do and let the cards fall where they may, because sticking to a rigid sense of what their roles were before is a perfect way to lose for no good reason. But we might find some discovery taking place if we allow them to just go out there and feel it out and hoop. You know, like I was saying last night, like sometimes you gotta have guys out there that just go out there and hoop and and don't think so much. You feel me?
Yeah,
because
and you know, but this what you just said right there, not thinking so much, is going to be tough with this lineup right now because you know things are new. You know, they thrust into this lineup. You know, Miles McBride thrust in there. Obi Toppin. I think Obi Toppin probably expected something was going to come one day where he would start. Julius would, you know, need a rest day or something like that. But are you prepared right now? Oh, it's happening right now. You know, so they'll be more prepared against Toronto. You know what I mean?
If we can double down on defense, like let's put offense out of our mind, right? Let's just go with a defensive plan going into some of these matchups. If we can do that, right, and we can create some turnovers, the offensive plan is to capitalize on what the defense can provide for us.
Right.
You know, and we have the guys that can run in transition, right? I don't know what we're going to do aside from Taj and maybe Obi rotating between the 4 and the 5, right? If Kevin can get some shots falling, the time is now. You know, that would be a beautiful thing to have. And he has some good strength to him. Maybe we can see him just get physical with some guys and not get too many whistles. But like you said, we need somebody aside from RJ to attack the rim and be able to open up the 3. If we can find quickly some heat, you know, we might have a shot here, you know, but I don't know what the injury report is or the protocol list is for Toronto.
Right.
I think they have a lot of their key guys that they're gonna need. I'm pretty sure that what's that guy they got from Portland? That's like that was just killing it. I think he's healthy and good to go for them.
Yeah, they're basically fully healthy except Scotty Barnes, but he has some tendonitis, I think. So I think they're gonna, rest him.
I'm telling you, the Canadians don't play around with this COVID thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
they're keeping them boys safe.
Sorry, Savvy, to cut you off, but the Raptors are gonna play 3 weeks without fans in the stands.
Yeah. Wow.
So it's going to be an empty building there.
Yeah.
Something that no organization is prepared to do here.
Right. Yeah. 3 weeks without fans. Well, and that's going to be.
And we don't have Julius Randle, right? State would love this. Julius to play in the stands.
Right. Right. I want to get to a couple of super chats really quick. For those just joining us, you can see Mitchell Robinson. He's in health and safety protocols. Kemba Walker, he's going to be out tomorrow night with a sore left knee. There's no timetable at this point for his return. And then, of course, Nerlens Noela's out. Randle, Robinson, Selden, Sims, they're all in health and safety. House, Derrick Rose, Samanik, Walker, they're out. Evan Fournier is questionable with a sore right ankle. And this right here was tweeted out by the Knicks PR today. With the way things are going in the NBA right now, I mean, you've really got to wait until 20 minutes before the game starts to know who's going to be playing and not playing. And sometimes even shorter than that. But let me get to a couple of super chats here.
What happened to Samanic?
What happened to who?
Lucas Samanic. I didn't know he was hurt.
Well, he's dealt with an ankle or something like that for a few weeks now, to be honest with you.
Oh, sheesh.
Yeah. But Coyote Nick, thank you for the super chat. He said, Chaotic Nick saying the same thing over and over. He said, can the Knicks adjust and get better as a coach overall? Can Tibbs adjust and get better as a coach overall? Asked this over and over after the Hawks series. So far, no good. It's hard. Who knows? I don't know. It's not all Tibbs, obviously. You know what I'm saying? Tibbs can make better decisions. The entire team, there's a lot that the entire team has to do to get better in this situation, to be honest with you. De La Music, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. You didn't leave a message on that one, but thank you for the super chat. Gavin Cayenne, he gave me 2 super chats, so I thank you for both. He said, I think he didn't play AB because he really wanted to see what the young guys could do on their own. I get that, but I think Tibbs still wants to win the basketball game. He still wants to be in the playoffs, right? So while you want to see what the young guys can do, 20 minutes is enough to see what they can do. You know what I'm saying? And who are you talking about? Because Miles is starting. He's not coming in for Miles. Obi Toppin is out there. He's not coming in for Obi. Right? Grimes, he's playing with Grimes. He knows what IQ can do. So I don't understand. I don't understand it. But it is what it is. Nothing we can do about it now.
That's a horrible reason to not play somebody. You know what I mean? Like, it's time to win these games and get back into the playoff hunt, bro. Like, if that's what he was thinking, that's malpractice.
Yeah, I don't think that's what he was thinking. I understand what Gavin is saying, but I don't think that's what he was thinking. Caller, you live. Tell me your name and where you're from, please.
What's going on, Sim? This is Reg Ice out the BX. How's it going, brother?
I'm good, brother. How you feeling, Reg?
Hanging in there. Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to everybody on the panel.
Same to you.
I was listening to the show and I hear you ask, are the Knicks in trouble? I think the Knicks been in trouble. I think we've been watching this team all season and we've all been just hoping to see that the other shoe would drop and everybody start to get it together and turn it around. We always wanted to see what the young kids were going to be able to do. And a lot of people, not everyone, just I would say half of the fan base was asking if we could just throw them all in there at the same time. I think those who know basketball, been around basketball, we know that was never going to be a smart idea to do it that way. But now it seems like that's what Tibbs is going to have to do. It's like they just forced his hand to just throw all the young guys out there because everyone else is in safety protocol or injured.
Right.
I'm worried about the fact that a lot of our guys are going to start to be exposed on a lot of their limitations now. And because everyone has such high hopes for a lot of these players. And like I said, if you watch basketball, you've played basketball, you've coached basketball, you can already see, even at the beginning of the season, who has certain traits, who had limitations, who was able to do things, who were not able to do things. I'm really worried that because everyone's so high on these young kids, like we have such a great young nucleus. I'm more concerned now that we're going to start to see like the Grimes, the McBrides, Obi. I think Obi has a lot more to give than he gave last night. I think Obi just got to get himself real confident. My concern is like the McBrides, the Grimes, RJ. RJ had a good game last night, but I believe that once the team decides that they want to focus on him or game plan him or say, well, this is all he wants to do, let's just take that from him. I think a lot of these kids are going to start to show what their limitations really are. And then it's going to start for the fan base to start to really question these kids. They're going to see that it's going to take a very long time for these kids to start to get their games up to par to be real NBA players. And it's going to take years. It's not going to take a season. It's not going to take you throwing them in there in the starting lineup and 10 games later he's going to be good. I see a lot of these kids as being role players because I see that's where their limitations are. IQ, we want him to start, but I know you see he has such limitations in his game that he's best suited to come off the bench. IQ could drive to the hole and immediately stop on a dime, turn around, spin around, and he does it every time when he drives into the lane. I know you was talking about he shoots his floater. IQ will stop on a drive, turn around, spin around, and then look to pass out, pick a dribble up. I never understood why he does it all the time, why he doesn't try to finish off of one leg, one hand, finish left hand, right hand. He never tries it. It's either a floater or he's going to stop on a dime. McBride is like, unless he gets a couple of picks, he is not getting to the hole. Grimes act like he doesn't want to pump fake on a three, going for a mid-range, or pump fake on a three, drive into a layup, or drive and kick. It just seems like it's so much work that we got to put into a lot of these players that if we continue to have Kemba out, Randle out, Rose out, a lot of these kids are going to start to be exposed, and it's going to start to really have us worrying about how our young kids look.
Well, see,
and that's my concern.
Okay. And see, my thought process behind, I understand what you're saying, right? And I get it. And I do agree with you to an extent, because I think when the Knicks drafted these players, they drafted them thinking of them as role players, looking at them and saying they can fit into what we're trying to do, play defense, knock down the three. So I don't think that they were looking at these guys and saying these guys can blossom into a starter on this team, or maybe they do think that like someone like a Grimes could be a starter, right? Be like a Danny Green who starts on who has started on a championship team. But I think right now they were looking at these guys and saying, we're going to bring in guys that can fit into what we're trying to do because we believe we have a starting lineup. And I think they believed that they had a starting lineup that was going to be very competitive. And these guys would be able to come in, knock down threes, play defense. Maybe Miles McBride. Miles McBride be groomed to be a guy that can take over as your starting point guard one day because he can play some defense. He can knock down a three. We think he can be a good facilitator. So I don't think that they drafted these guys thinking that they're going to blossom into all-stars. I think they drafted them looking at them as role players. And so, in a situation like this, their limitations could be exposed because they were meant to be role players, I think.
And unfortunately, Sim, you just said exactly what I was saying. They're drafted to be role players playing a role not to be put in these positions because the fans want to see them starting. The fans want to see them come out here and play a major role.
Right.
Like you just said.
Yep.
We know as basketball heads that's been around basketball 30, 40 years, we see it. We've been seeing it. Give them some time. I'm sure they're going to get better. But are they going to get better to the point where you're saying, okay, Deuce is now, he's the starter and he's the transition into a good point guard for the Knicks. I see Deuce being a good second, like a backup and playing a role. Grimes, I see him possibly starting, but playing a limited role. And I think a lot of Knicks fans are not seeing these kids that way. I think a lot of these Knicks fans think these kids are going to be able to come and start and change the culture around. And unfortunately, I think that they're about to start to see they have such limitations that now they're going to start to question, do we got young kids that's a John Morant? No, we don't have these kids, and they don't need to be put in those positions. RJ doesn't need to be put in the position of a Shea Gilgeous-Alexander because he's not him. Right. You need to allow RJ to just like get his game better, fall into his role, improve on his limitations, and just be happy that RJ is a very good contributor to the team. I don't want to see people getting angry that RJ is not an all-star or he's not an all. No, because after so many years of seeing a player, after so many years, you start to understand what that player is. And that's just how I see it.
Okay.
Yeah, they might make an all-star team like Randle one time, but don't make him out to be more, to put the expectations on him, to make him feel like he has to do way more. No, just let the man progress and do what he needs to do to try to help the team turn our culture around.
Yeah,
and that's all I'm saying.
Right.
So let them go out there and play. They might mess up. They may look horrible, but don't start to put these expectations on them because now you're going to see what they really are. And man, just let them progress. That's how I'm looking at it.
I feel you, bro.
That's why I said we got to
Reg.
and it's really about the fan base.
Hey, yo, Reg, I have a question for you, fam.
Yeah.
I think we differ on the potential of RJ Barrett, but I'm not going to label the point. I just want to know, how tall are you, fam? The Knicks might need your help, dog.
I'm 6'3.5".
Dude, he can, he can play some point guard for us. We need some. He can play some shooting guard too.
Fill out that depth chart right quick, fam. You from BX, right?
Yeah, I'm out the BX, yeah.
Yo,
hey, listen, man.
Yeah, hey, I appreciate you, Reg. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for the call.
Y'all stay healthy. Y'all take care of yourself.
Take it easy.
I see some people in the chat saying, oh, the kids play one game, we lose. Now everybody's down on the kids. I'm not down on the kids at all. At all. All I'm saying is, and what Reg, I think, was saying too, is when the Knicks drafted these guys, the Knicks thought that they had a lineup that was really going to be, 5th, 4th, 5th, 6th in the Eastern Conference. And so they're like, hey, we're going to bring some guys in that fit into what we're doing, continue the culture, right? And when we get our chance to, bring in a player that steps us up another level, we'll bring that guy in. Now these kids are being asked to step in and do a little bit more than maybe what they were expected to do this season. That's all, and that's all I'm saying. I'm not down on him at all. I love McBride. I love Grimes. I'm hoping that Obi, tomorrow night explodes. Trust me. But, I think when the Knicks drafted, maybe not Obi, but when they drafted McBride and they drafted Grimes, they looked at them as guys who would be able to come in and fill a role, fill out the roster, play some minutes, but, fill out the roster and being able to really execute their role well. You know what I mean? So now we're asking them to step into something a little bit more. We got to be patient with them. And we can't get mad and start pointing out scapegoats and getting mad because this guy didn't do this, didn't do that, or can't do this or can't do that, because we're just learning about it, because this is what we do. You know what I mean? Like, if this was the squad right here, right now, and we had no Kemba, no Randle, people would be looking at RJ saying, oh, he's not the guy. It's time to do this, that, and the third with him, because they would scapegoat him. You know what I'm saying? And, I went on my little thing on Twitter earlier today, And I was like, I'm so sick and tired of people finding someone to be a scapegoat every single season. I don't care who is on the team. It's like, it's a ridiculous thing. It's a ridiculous thing. Sometimes we just gotta, it's okay to criticize because, you know, we're fans of the game. We're going to criticize. We're going to say what guys can do to get better. We may not like a guy and we want this guy traded, but to put all the blame on Elfrid Payton, you know what I'm saying, was just like ridiculous. Tony, what's popping with you, bro?
What's going on, Sam? Shout out to the chat.
Chilling,
Yo,
man.
Blackest Time. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, bro.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, Tony, after what you seen last night and knowing the Knicks current situation, for anyone just joining us, you see it on the screen. Mitchell Robinson, he's in health and safety protocol. Kemba Walker, he's out tomorrow night with a sore left knee. He didn't play last night versus Oklahoma City. It was a late game scratch because of a sore left knee. No timetable for his return. Nerlens Noel is out. Randle is out. Selden, Sims, Daniel House Jr. is out. Not that he's like, you know, the greatest thing ever, but he's out. Derrick Rose obviously is nursing. He's recovering from ankle surgery. Samanic, out. Fournier, questionable. After last night's game, and what we're looking at here, Tony, with everyone being out, and then who we got coming up? Toronto, Indiana, Boston. Are the Knicks in trouble? That's the question. Are the Knicks in trouble? When I look in the YouTube chat, I put a poll in the chat. 63% of the listeners say yes, the Knicks are in trouble. 19% say no. 18% say we need more time to see. Tony, what do you think?
I'm gonna be. I'm here for the ride. I tell you that much. So first thing I want to say is to some fans, be careful what you wish for, because y'all about to get exactly what y'all been asking for, and we're gonna see where we are as a team. But it's gonna be a learning and a growing experience for a lot of these young guys, young Knicks that are healthy right now. I'm with Tibbs in the aspect of I'm not gonna say it's over until it's over. You know what I mean? Like I think there's still a lot of fighting to do, a lot of things to learn. But we're gonna be playing. It's gonna be an uphill battle for the rest of the season. It's not gonna be no comfortable stretch. I don't believe where we're sitting somewhere and we could project where we're gonna be at the end. I think it's gonna be a long road ahead of us. But I'm not ready to give up. And then even if the worst happens, you know what I mean? As a Knicks fan, I'm with that, because if we have a bad outcome for the season as a whole, I'm still comfortable in some of the guys that are here, and the fact that I know a team is going to play better the second year under Tibbs. So like we've seen that already. So I'll say that.
Yeah. You know, what I'm hoping right now, is that the Knicks can, over the next couple of weeks, bide their time, you know, stay within 2 to 3 games of 500 so that everyone can get healthy. Right? Because we play Toronto, Indiana, Boston, San Antonio, Dallas, Atlanta, Charlotte, and Minnesota. Then New Orleans. Then, on Sunday, January 23rd, we begin a stretch that's going to be grueling. All right? It's going to be grueling. Now, my hope is that I was hoping at the beginning of the season is that we were about 6 or 7 games above 500 to get to this point. Right? But, oh, man. Beginning on January 23rd, we play the Clippers. Then we play Cleveland, who is now a very good team in the NBA. Then we play Miami. Then Milwaukee. Then we play Sacramento. Then we play Memphis, Los Angeles, Lakers, the Utah Jazz, the Denver Nuggets, the Golden State Warriors, the Portland Trailblazers. Then we play OKC. We just lost to OKC. Then we play Brooklyn. Then we play Miami. Then we play Philadelphia, Phoenix, the Clippers. That takes us to March 2nd. Like we're at the end of this month, we are going to enter a stretch of basketball that is just grueling for the New York Knicks. One of the toughest stretches that I've seen for the Knicks in a while, toughest and longest, or should I say one of the longest stretches of tough basketball that I've seen the Knicks have to play in a while.
Unforgiving.
You know, so
and let me tell you something. That Miami game, that first one on the 26th is on my birthday. And I'm gonna be there. And let me tell you something. I don't want to start 28 like that, buddy. You know what I mean? Like, I am genuinely in horror about what could potentially go wrong between here and there. Because it's, correct me if I'm wrong, right? Aside from like the Nets, who are the top 2 seeds in the East right now, I think Chicago might have jumped up over them. Who has COVID hit this hard aside from the Knicks?
Oh, Chicago's after that wave. They had like everyone out. So
yeah.
And they did, and they managed it pretty well. I have to give it to them. Aside from those teams, I feel like we're getting slapped up by this COVID. And I don't know if we choose the wrong airports. I don't know if we're just overexposed in general, but it doesn't seem fair. It really doesn't, right?
The funny thing is,
even if we're go on.
The funny thing is, last year we was probably the least affected.
The least affected.
It's true. Yeah.
The least affected.
Now, so you know, looking at that stretch, it's going to be grueling. No, I'm marking January 23rd on my calendar, and you know, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to put Doomsday next to it or what, but I'm marking it on my calendar because I know that's going to be the beginning of a tough stretch. But if we're going to make it through, during this time that all these players are out, we need RJ. We really do need RJ to step up as the leader of this team at this point. Can he do it? That's what I want to know. Can he do it? He played well last night. Can we ride the back of RJ Barrett until people get healthy? Is it too much pressure on him? Like Reg just said, you know, should it not even be expected of RJ? It has to be right now, I think. Can we ride the back of RJ, Tony, to get us through this stretch, possibly win a couple of games, keep us afloat, we get everybody back, and then we run into this really tough stretch where maybe, because if we hit this tough stretch and we got this many people out, forget about it, in my opinion. Can we ride the back of RJ?
I think to expect or to put the blame on him, whether it be win or loss, for the stretch, I think it's unfair.
I agree.
But what I will say is, we should get the best RJ. You know what I mean? Like so I think he probably get more freedom, more responsibility. You know what I mean? More minutes and things of that nature. So if he's gonna figure it out this year, I mean, I think this would be the stretch in which he does, or he could. You know what I mean? But with the results not being put on his shoulder, but I think he should break out of his stretch. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and maybe step it up. Maybe see some of that stuff that we was expecting from a third-year breakout. Mm-hmm. I think he has the opportunity now. Yeah. Not saying it wasn't there before, but I think he has the opportunity without the pressure. You know what I mean? Because, like, who else we going to? right now.
Right. And or hopefully Evan Fournier's ankle gets healthy, and maybe we can rely on him some as well.
We can scapegoat Fournier.
I mean, but the thing is, I think what Tony is saying is don't scapegoat him. Don't scapegoat the kid. If
right, give him carte blanche.
If we got to ride, we're gonna be riding them for the next few games, and if the Knicks go 0 and whatever, it's not all on RJ. Even if he has some bad games, don't scapegoat the kid.
True. I'll tell you what, Gary Trent Jr. gonna give him a long night. He's gonna give him a long night. I hope he comes out of that one not too banged up, because
I mean, but we're gonna get a chance to see what he's made of. We're gonna get a chance to see what RJ is made of. I want to take a listen from last night. This is RJ Barrett from last night's post-game presser. See what he had to say.
I mean, over the summer night, like this new starting lineup, like had never really been a boxer because Miles and OB was there a little. I know he got off the 12-2 start, but was there an adjustment just not having Julius and stuff?
Yeah, having Kemba and Julius out was a little different. But I think the guys played hard. You gotta play for 48 minutes. We started out good, and then towards end of the first quarter, second quarter they were playing well. So we just gotta string together stops. That's really it. String together stops so we could just get out and play free.
Kemba and Julius are obviously responsible for so much of the offense, and you were facilitating a lot tonight, a lot of different roles. Do you feel like it's kind of your responsibility now to run things more?
I'm just trying to play. I'm just trying to play whatever the game dictates. Always gonna be aggressive. And especially with Deuce coming in and starting lineup. I told him before the game. I'm there with him. I'm gonna help him out as much as I can. So.
Julius is such a big presence for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
It's not normal injury now that he literally isn't there. Is it weird just not having him there?
Yeah, it's different. It's different not having him there. He's, you can rely on 20 and 10 from him every night. So we're gonna have to make up for that. But we have guys. We have guys, and guys are ready to play. And I feel like we're gonna regroup and come out a lot better next game.
I mean, this is it for the 2021. I mean, when you look ahead 2022, I mean, do you feel like there's more potential in this team than a sub 500 club that goes into the new year on the 500?
I think don't sleep on us. I think we're working our way back. Just like every other team, we've had a lot of guys in and out, and I think that we're gonna keep grinding. We're gonna keep pushing, no matter what. We're not gonna give up. So don't sleep on us.
What do you think was you guys were 8 for 41
tonight?
What do you think was the issue there?
Man, happens sometimes. I think there was a night where we made like 24 or 25 threes. Tonight we only made 8 of them. So it happens. And I'm sure we'll knock them down next game. Thanks, guys.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was RJ Barrett. Of course, that was from the New York Knicks YouTube page, post-game presser.
That guy, man.
You can catch all of the Knicks post-game pressers on their YouTube page. Make sure you go check them out. Subscribe to their channel. And you can go check out Obi Toppin. It's up there right now. We're not going to check out Obi Toppin's right now. But make sure you go check out the Knicks YouTube page. RJ said, don't sleep on us.
And that they're not going to make the 3, Sim. I don't know if that was a promise or...
Yeah.
You need guys like that.
Right. He said, don't sleep on us. Hopefully, I think the Knicks, they're going to have games where they knock down those threes. They better. If not, they better. But you know what I know it's the diplomatic approach, right? It's the diplomatic approach. But they asked the question, with Randle being out, do you feel the responsibility is on you to, kind of take control of the team, and he's just, the game is going to dictate what happens? I want RJ to just emphatically say, yeah, it is.
Yes.
It's my responsibility now. That's what I want to hear from RJ, because I understand the team thinking. You need to have team players, right? But at this point, you're the best player on the team, RJ. Right now, you are the best player on the team. You got to step up, in my opinion, and assume that responsibility and say, yeah,
say it again, Sim.
Yeah, it's me. I got to go out and do it. And I think, I just want him to do that. I want him to say, I take that responsibility. That's what I want from him. I don't want him to say,
do you remember?
The game is going to dictate what happens. I want him to take that responsibility.
But
that's what I'm saying. Like,
all the vets.
I'm sorry.
All the vets aren't out. Like Burks is still in, right?
Yeah, but Burks
and Fournier is not like a serious injury. I don't know if that's the right mindset. I mean, you could argue that, yeah, because Burks comes off the bench, but Burks also does whatever. Like he could fill in for you. He could fill in for any particular person. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I would think maybe after a good game or something, he could say, like, I'm trying to take that leadership role, but to put that pressure on himself as the guy, I don't think he should do that.
See,
I think that falls right into the trap of the fans expecting it and scapegoating.
But see, for me, and maybe this is me because of who I am, and I know what I would have said and done. I feel it speaks to the mindset that this is obvious. You've got to have, to me, a split mindset where it's a team game. We're playing out here as a team, and yeah, I'm gonna take what the game dictates. But there's a certain point where I know I'm the best player out here. I gotta take this thing over, and I am gonna put it on my back. Because I feel like if that's the player that you're going to be one day, I don't think it's ever, take that responsibility. This is the time to do it, because really, if Randle is here, you're probably going to say, I'm going to take what the game dictates. But right now, you're the one that everyone's looking at to say,
yeah,
you're the guy. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want him to back away from
by
it.
RJ.
Say that again, Andy?
He was a little bit dodging, that kind of responsibility. And Sim, and I'm like you, Sim. I would say, like, listen, I gotta do it. And no matter, it's just I would say that. And if I'm in the locker room with the teammates, I'm trying to be that guy. But if I'm gonna fail, I'm not gonna be mad at myself. I wanted to do that. If it didn't pan out, tough luck, right? But at least I wanted to pick up the the slack or whatever, after the main guys. And like you said, he's on the totem pole right now. Maybe if Fournier was like fully healthy and was playing better from the start of the season, maybe you could try to split it out. Like he could say, listen, me and Evan are the next guy is up, we should share the responsibility or whatever. But at this point, it's like whoever. I wouldn't be surprised if like Fournier was asked that question, and he would say, like, listen, I gotta be the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And he would probably do it.
Agree.
I'm not gonna lie, he would probably say it. So
I think that makes more sense. The whole thing that I argued a while back was the lack of a pecking order and how that is hurting the team. And so you got guys still on the team that could argue, or you can make an argument for, that are higher in the pecking order, the non-existing pecking order than RJ is. So I still think he would have to fall in line. I could see Fournier saying that. We've put Burks in that closer category position, and like, all right, that's what he is for. So that's what I'm saying. Now, can he prove that he is? That's a different story. My answer would be yes. This is an opportunity for him to prove that he is. But for him to claim it or say it, I think that's just putting the pressure on him.
Nah, Tony, I think if they would ask Fournier, he would say it. If they would ask Quickly would say it too. He would be like, bro, I'm going to take that shot. Just give me the ball. He would be like,
see, I think RJ is in more of a position than Fournier because he's been on this team. Yeah. He was here last year. You know what I'm saying? When they went to he was here when there was trash. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Last year when they went to the playoffs. And so I would think he's in a more position than Fournier because he knows more of what Tom Thibodeau wants, what Tom Thibodeau expects. He's been here with Tom Thibodeau for at least a year. Yeah, I mean, he was drafted. You know,
I don't disagree.
I think he has a little bit more responsibility there.
I don't disagree with you, but then that should have been his claim from the jump. You know what I mean? Like that should have been the pecking order from jump. It shouldn't have been a question of who's the number 2, who's the number 3. Like what role is RJ in? So I agree that he's in more position to claim it, and had he claimed it, I wouldn't be mad at that either. But I'm not mad that he didn't.
Yeah, but see, I think the reason why there's a question about the pecking order is because of that mindset.
Right.
That's why I think. That's why I feel like there's a question about it. Now, also, what he's saying to us in the public may not be exactly what he's thinking up here. You know what I'm saying? He might just not want to ruffle anybody's feathers and just be like, but when I get out there on the floor, watch what I do. You know what I'm saying? So it could be that too. You know what I'm saying? He's just going to go out there and put it out there on the floor and make it happen. And he won't need to say it because everybody will know it. Hopefully that's going to be the case.
You know what I mean? Lot of people struggle with, and this might sound a little bit left field, but it applies here. Like a lot of people, whenever I would coach people, right, that needed to go do a public speech, and they were nervous, right? But they were very shrewd and good at what they did, and absolutely very charismatic, talking person to person. Sometimes going in front of a crowd scares them, and sometimes all the doubts and anxieties of what might go wrong would keep them tentative. And you need to say things out loud and tell yourself things to concretize the confidence and ability that you know you possess in the first place, right? And what Andy just said was absolutely right. He was kind of dodging it because now you really got nobody in your way to take claim to this role that you have, right? And this is the same kid from draft night, if you remember. Oh boy, I'm a Knick. You know what I'm saying? He wanted to be a Knick, despite what we've been through for his entire life of what he's seen, what it means to be a Knick. This is what he wanted. Right? This was his team of choice. He wanted to be a New York Knick, and now you are in the position to take over, right? I feel like Leon, when he went to go see Franklin in Snowfall for the first time in jail, and he saw his face, and he was like, tell him who you is, man. Show him who you is, because this is the time right now for you to be like, yes, it is my job to do this and lead this team, and I'm going to do it. And sometimes just saying it and taking it upon yourself is all you need in order to solidify that in your mind and give yourself permission to flourish in a way that would otherwise get in the way of somebody else who you feel like you need to defer to. To break this mindset, sometimes you got to say it. So people are right in the chat that's saying do it through actions, not speech. But sometimes the speech can enable the action.
That's true. That's true. That's true. That's true. That's true. Well, you know what? I'll say this. I know last night when RJ started scoring, I seen the look on his face. He had a little scowl on his face. And I felt like at that point he was like, you know what? This is me. This is on me. I'm taking this over. So hopefully that's really his mindset. He just didn't say it, with his words, but I'm hoping that's truly his mindset, that he's like, I'm going to put this on me. I'm going to take it over. I would like to hear him verbalize it, but, everybody's got their own way. You know what I mean? And we'll see. We'll see, because we're going to need them. They're coming up against Toronto, and Toronto's they've been tough for us all season long with the way that they play defense against us. So, we're going to need some grittiness from RJ Barrett, from Obi Toppin. We're going to need these guys to get gritty and like battle, be ready for a battle. I'm looking forward to the game because I want to see how these young guys respond. I'm a little bit scared of it, but I'm looking forward to it because I want to see how they respond. And obviously, that was their first game. Miles McBride, Obi Toppin, their first game starting, right? So let's see how they respond with it being now their second game starting. Probably a little bit more comfortable out there on the floor. Had, a shoot around today, hopefully, to go over some things, talk through some things, looking at last night's game to say, okay, I could have did this, could have did that. They're going to get better as a unit and figure some things out as we go through these however many games. You know what I mean? So we will see.
I have one last question. I have one last question for the panel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that with the hardships that we're going through right now, do you think it would be a decent idea to reach back into a bygone era, offer some 10-day contracts to J.R. Smith and Iman Shumpert? Run it. Iman Shumpert could help us right now, probably, if he stays ready.
I mean, his footwork,
the option.
Yeah, his footwork is probably, gotten better since he's been doing Dancing with the Stars. His footwork might be a little nice. I don't know.
He's still in shape.
I mean,
he's only 31 years old. He's at the rim.
I mean, I don't know. I think, in my opinion, with the situation the way it is now, this is really your opportunity to just let the young guys rock. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully you find something within these guys that when everyone gets back, now you learn, okay, I can use this lineup now. I can use this lineup now. I know this guy will step up here, or this guy can do that. So maybe you learn something about these guys that's going to help you later on. If the Knicks are fortunate enough to stay in the race, be in the play-in, be in the playoffs, whatever it is, that you have something in your bag of tricks that you can go to. So I think it's more valuable to do that than to start looking at, some of these old vets. As long as you got players you can put out there on the floor. I think it's more valuable. It would just be
ill to see him lace up again.
I don't know. What do you think about that, Andy?
Yeah.
Sim, I think I might be the last one on the panel or on the whole NBK fam that I'm going to sit here patiently, wait for this, health protocols to resolve themselves. And even after that, I think I might not even make a move till the deadline, and only make a move if we're like, this is a no-brainer for us to get better, right?
Right.
I'm not moving Fournier. I'm not moving Kemba even. I'm just sticking with these guys that we have. And, try to mix it up, get those rotations right. We saw Tibbs do it last year, the second half of the season. And you were referring to that, stretch after January the 23rd. Listen, we're going to expect, 3 wins? We're going to get 6 wins or double that at least. So, it's going to be tough, right? Because, we're going to lose we're going to be 5-15 in that stretch. But we're going to expect 3 wins. We're going to get 5, so it's going to be better.
It's going to be tough. What do you think about that, Tony? Go pick up some, some older vets during the stretch, or just let the young guys rock out.
Yeah, I'm with the rock, the young guys. Shepard has been on a media phase right now, where he might not he might be too vocal to be on the Knicks right now. So we don't need no extra distractions groom the youth, see what we got. That's what a lot of fans been asking for. But it's the right way too. It's not forced. You know what I mean? It's not sacrificing. They got to step up now. We see what they made of, and I'm with Andy too. Wait it out. See what we got. See where we end up. Let's see if we can surprise ourselves and everybody else, and then see where we at the end, I guess.
Yeah, see where we at. I'm looking at the poll, and I asked, are the Knicks in trouble? 360 votes. 64% said yes. 17% said no. And 19% said we need more time. I'm going to end this poll. I'm going to put another one in the chat. I want to ask you about RJ. What do you think? Is it RJ's responsibility to step up or not? All right, so I'd
like to hear a phone call from that 17% that says no, that we're not in trouble. Because I just want to hear the perspective.
Yeah, I'd like to hear that too. I mean, maybe some people are just like, hey, you know what? Some people probably feel like we still have a good, strong squad that has enough depth to win some of these basketball games, because Toronto's below 500, Indiana's below 500, Boston is below 500, San Antonio is also below 500. Right? So I'm sure there's people that think, hey, these might be teams that we can beat. We got caught in a situation.
Boston just outscored Phoenix. Sorry.
They may think, we got caught in a situation last night. Guys had to step in last minute as starters, let them get a chance to get their feet wet, and we can come back and play. I'm sure there's people that feel that way. You know what I'm saying? Because, we are playing some teams that are below 500. This was supposed to be a stretch that we thought we were going to be able to dominate, or hope that we would dominate. But I don't know. What you say now, Sabby? I missed it. What you say?
Oh, I was just saying that, Boston's below 500, but they just outscored Phoenix, I think it was last night. You know what I'm saying? So they, I've seen them stink it up a couple times this season, but they, not unlike the Knicks, have shown the capacity to play at a high level and really shock some teams that should be out of their reach.
Right.
And if we can maintain that same, sort of explosiveness with this young core, then maybe we'll be able to sweep this whole upcoming week of games. Who knows?
Who knows? And listen, they did. Phoenix had Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Mikal Bridges, Cameron Johnson. They had people playing. So it's not like they were hurting. And Boston was without, let me see, Boston had Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Robert Williams, Al Horford, and Grant Williams. So you never know. Things can happen. Tatum. Things can happen. We do got to play this team coming up. They've been on a downslide. Maybe this Suns game gets them, back and feeling good about themselves and starting to win some basketball games. But all I'm saying is that's probably what some of those people are thinking, those who say we're not in trouble, right, that, we're getting ready to play a stretch of games of teams that were below 500.
Yeah, true.
So that's probably what their thinking is. Doesn't mean they're not going to be tough games.
Checkable.
Yeah.
Or they just say, we got our own first draft pick.
or they're saying, what? We got our own first round draft pick?
Yeah.
Well, they could be saying that too. Like, hey, we not in trouble. We just going to tank it out, get these draft picks, and make some moves.
They exist.
Yeah, they're out there.
I saw the tank bubbling up on social media last night. I'm like, not y'all again.
Listen, that's coming. You already know. There's no doubt about that. That's coming. That's coming. Everyone's going to say, tank it out, get you a point guard in the draft, and let's rock with it next season. You already know that's coming.
RJ and Deuce are going to make something happen for bringing that ball up court, man. I have faith. Let's get it.
Yeah. Well, let's see what happens, man. Tomorrow, the New York Knicks take on the Toronto Raptors. The Knicks will be depleted. We all know this. They will be depleted. If you're just joining us, we're getting ready to head off if you're just joining us. But if you're just joining us, first of all, big shout out to DraftKings for sponsoring this video. And DraftKings, pretty soon, ladies and gentlemen, their sports book is opening up in New York. So if you're in New York, you can take your chances in DraftKings Sportsbook. So just be ready for it. And if you use the code NBK, you get a couple of special benefits. So you can click the link that's in the description of this video. But if you're just joining us, Mitchell Robinson, he's out due to health and safety protocols. Kemba Walker, last night he was a late scratch due to a sore left knee. And there's no timetable to his return. So he's going to be out for tomorrow night's game against the Toronto Raptors. Nerlens Noel continues to be out. Randle. Selden, that's Wayne Selden, doesn't get much playing time anyway, but he's out. Sims, he's out due to health and safety protocols. Derrick Rose is out. Ankle surgery. Evan Fournier is questionable due to a sore right ankle. So we're entering a super duper tough stretch. And the question is, are the Knicks in trouble? Well, we kind of got our answers there. Most people think we are. But during this stretch, ladies and gentlemen, can and should RJ take responsibility of this basketball team? There's a poll in the chat. I'd like to see you participate in that poll. Anyway, I'm up out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Andy, any last words?
Yes, let's think, let's have lower expectations from these Knicks and be happy with every W that we get on this hard road ahead of us.
Yeah, exactly. Just be grateful for it. 2022 coming in with a bang. Tony?
Yeah, just remember, it's just a game, man. It's just a sport. Life is real. It's a new year. Let's have a better year than last year. And your blackest time. Sim, keep doing your thing. Shout out to the
Appreciate you,
chat.
man. And Savvy?
We call to his name Emmanuel. We need that rainmaker. Obi Toppin, run that rim, do your thing, jam it on heads. Dunker's Delight Jr., let's get it, okay? Rowan, y'all already know what I want to say to Rowan, all right? And Deuce, just do what you do and try to lock somebody up, okay? Try to lock up Van Vliet. Salute to the panel. Salute to Andy, it's good to see you. Salute to Tone, Stim, and let's get it. New York Knicks all day, baby.
All right, no doubt. And looking at the poll, the polls asked the question, is it RJ's responsibility to become the leader? 78% of those who voted said yes. 22% said no. I don't know. I think it's his responsibility. I think he's going to try as well, though. I think he's going to try. Before I get out of here, I didn't get a chance to say this yesterday at all. I would like to say rest in peace to Betty White.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's been around ever since I can remember.
She saw the Knicks championships, Sim.
Yeah, exactly. The Yankees too.
Yeah, all 27 of them.
Yeah,
right?
Tell me about it. Rest in peace to Betty White, man. Listen, don't judge me, but I used to watch the Golden Girls. I ain't gonna.
Me too.
I'm not gonna lie. It was a funny show.
Me too.
Everybody
who had the blessing of being able to hang out with their grandparents, watching daytime TV as a youngster, got to see a couple episodes here and there of the Golden Girls.
Yeah,
and it was funny.
It was funny. It definitely was, especially the old lady. She was hilarious. But anyway, man, rest in peace to Betty White. I'm out of here, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate your time. I'll catch you tomorrow on the game preview. I'm out of here. Peace. New York family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. I want to give a shout out to my partner, DraftKings Sportsbook. You know DraftKings, the industry leader in building your daily fantasy sports lineups. Well, ladies and gentlemen, they have a brand new sportsbook. and it's coming to New York. Soon, very soon, you can take a shot on all of your favorite sports teams with everything from same-game parlays to player props. You know, Derrick Rose, RJ Barrett, Julius Randle. DraftKings. It's safe, secure, reliable. And peep this. Anytime you want to, you can deposit or withdraw your cash. DraftKings Sportsbook is coming to you, New York. So check out DraftKings. Tell them Sim sent you. Use the code NBK. There's a link in the description of this video. Remember, NBK.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place to tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.